Welcome back to the fifth and final episode of 31 Days to Wellbeing. I'm Zach, I'm joined by Marcus and Lewis. And over the course of January, we have been doing 31 different wellbeing activities for 31 days to raise £3,100 for Men Walk Talk.
Day 29, we decided to do Tai Chi, which is a Chinese internal martial art that is supposedly good for your health.
Yeah, I'd had a particularly long day. Like I'd been in the office and then I'd been out for dinner with some colleagues. And so when I got back, I wasn't massively up for it naturally. It was really good. It's sort of like an activated yoga. It's really hard. Which was quite surprising to me because you're so focused on moving so slowly that it's way harder than, I don't know, it's just, if you buy into it more, the harder it gets, I felt like. So when I was really, really trying, but similar to many of the ones we've done throughout January, it's one I feel like doing in a class with other people outside with a proper instructor would be way better, because doing it at 1:45 when I'm like in my work clothes or just come back or whatever was just not the vibe that I needed from it. So that one was my fault, but it was still definitely very good. And I'd actually been chatting to someone, she does it every single day and completely swears by it and really buys into the movement of energy around the body with the ways you're flowing. Yeah, I definitely felt very relaxed afterwards. It was much harder than I thought it was going to be. And it's definitely one I think I'm considering trying again properly.
So I really liked the idea of doing it outside to add a dimension, to have your flow of your body matching the stream of the wind or the breeze in the trees, having your feet planted on the ground with the twigs under the soles of your feet. So I did it on top of Greenwich Hill, which is one of my favourite parts of London. I actually found it a little bit difficult to access it, partly because I was feeling self-conscious being in a public space. So next time I think I'd maybe find a more secluded area, ideally with a view as good as that, but maybe with less people viewing me.
Just that slow, considered movement was something, because your instinct is just do something quite quickly. But as soon as you take time to do it, then you've got this weird push and pull. So I think that part of it, very mindful, because you aren't thinking with the nature of those ancient traditions like Tai Chi, yoga, and chanting. There's a reason why they've lasted so long, because they are effective and there's proven benefits behind them.
Tai Chi, the obvious analog, is the yoga. And I just found that the yoga was doing so much more for my body. And I don't necessarily buy into the energy stuff yet. Like, it was my first dip of my toes into that. And maybe I'd get there. But I think it is related to what you say about yoga being actually a part of our culture as well as ancient cultures, that lets you sort of just get into it quicker, because I've done it before, even though I didn't really know what I was doing. I sort of had a little bit of body memory, whereas the Tai Chi, I really was at sea. And I think it would have been great to have an instructor. Maybe if I did it again, I'd go to a class and also maybe have an explanation of the philosophy behind it. Day 30 was arts and crafts, something that I think a lot of people we know lean on when they need to boost their well-being, and it's also something that individually we've all practiced in the past.
For this one, I decided to start the 31 Days to Wellbeing scrapbook, which I decided to make. And obviously I wasn't going to finish it because we need to actually print the photos first. But I thought it would be nice to line up all of the affirmations that came out of our live event at Morocco Bound, which feels literally like a year ago. And so everyone had written down 5 kind of positive affirmations that they wanted to take into the year and had left them behind anonymously. And so what I've done is, just stick them in, chosen my favorite one, and then folded it up so no one else can see it, and just written out everyone's kind of amazing affirmations as a sign for us for kind of what we've done over the past month, and to see the changes that are going to be coming into the world.
I did scrapbooking, but for my travels, because I didn't want to start this one until we'd finished it. The further and further away I get from it, the more I'm forgetting about what I was doing. When I look back in a year and I remember no one, they'll re-jog my memory. So, and I think this is something that we discussed. Well, I think we discussed in the week where we did journaling, is it's such a good way to be able to hone your memory and be able to look back on it. So this is more of just a slightly more visual version of journaling, I find. It's just and it involves that physical aspect of gluing in, thinking about placement, to tell a little story so that I can look back on it in however many years, the rest of my life, and have really nice positive memories about it. With arts and crafts in general, it is just such a nice thing to do, is to take an hour or two and just focus on something that's without having anything else to worry about. It's that just mindful reflection.
Yeah, you're not necessarily doing it for like the artistic goal. You're doing it just because it's nice to do, and it's a common theme that's come out throughout the month. Is like, mine's not going to look like the most beautiful scrapbook ever made, but it's going to be very, very meaningful with everything that we've achieved throughout the month to be able to look at it.
I chose colouring, which was the second option in the Viewers Decide poll. It was actually my favourite out of the two, so I wanted to somehow do it anyway. So I win again. But you are focusing your attention on one very simple objective, which is putting the colour in the lines. And yeah, there's also some creativity about deciding the colours, but it's just so satisfying taking your mind off whatever stresses and strains you have beforehand. And I just could see that happen almost as the colours grew, my stress shrunk, and it was just more and more satisfying. So I think it's something I'm going to do actually again. And I've got my colouring book. I went to Waterstones and they were like, "Oh, I guess you're getting that as a present for a child." And I was like, "Oh no, oh no." And I almost didn't correct them. And I think at the start of the month I wouldn't have, but I was like, "No,
this is for me.
This is for me.
Yeah.
I deserve this. I need
What are you
this."
going to do about it?
Yeah, exactly. But then it turned out that the girl did it in her own free time as well, so she gave me some tips. For me, anxiety comes from all the uncertainties in life and you don't know where to direct your energy. So on the flip side, with something like arts and crafts, you really just have one very simple thing to do, which is make it look pretty.
I have a different surprise for the two of you, and so I've told you both that you needed to take some time off towards the end of the month. So you've each taken 3 days, and I asked you to keep a bit of a budget. So I think you both knew that we'd be going away. However, I think you both thought that you would be choosing where we're going. But instead, I have selected where we're going. We've got the flights.
Oh my God.
We've got the Airbnb on the other side. So pack your bags and meet me tomorrow morning at Stansted Airport at 9 a.m. I'll send you my location and you'll find out where we're going then.
Oh my God.
Pack some warm weather. Get your sunglasses ready. Because we're going to... Not telling.
Oh, that is such a tease.
We will be calling at Stansted Airport.
We open it. We open it? Yeah. Porto! I've never been to Porto.
Me neither.
I know! I've been keeping notes. Started. Oh, definitely best January of my life.
I mean, just as soon as we watched the video, I was just really giddy with excitement. Like, obviously never done anything remotely like this. And to have it all taken out of your hands, it's just a complete and utter adventure.
Yeah, I mean, I think the excitement was so real, and just not knowing where you're going to go, but knowing you're going somewhere. And I think we both trust your judgment quite well, so we know it'll be somewhere exciting. We are both clearly very oblivious because you did some fishing over the month to find out places, and neither of us had any idea where you were planning on going, and we were just as shocked. And the fact that you paid for the whole thing we were so oblivious that we didn't even notice until we got to Portugal.
All I knew is where we were going. So I had no idea what was on the other side. We didn't do any research. Yeah, the reasoning behind it is that we can sometimes not be as spontaneous as we want to be, and we can overplan and we can overthink. And sometimes the best thing, and we've learned this throughout the month, is to kind of do first, think later. And that was, the whole motive behind this, as well as the excitement of kind of not really knowing what's on the other side and not like where we're going or what we're going to be doing. It's just, right, let's get on the plane and go first, and then we can work everything out after that.
To round off this whole month, which has been so exceptional, we've seen so many different places just in London itself. We started off in the beautiful woods in Forest Row and ending in Porto.
So on the 31st, we still had some last minute, Lewis had some last minute editing to do, so it was a bit of a race to the finish. And then we had this amazing evening where we found this kind of dodgy wall that we climbed up, and it had this perfect viewpoint out over the famous bridge in Porto, and we sat and watched the 4th episode for the first time all together. The night drew to a close and it was approaching midnight. It was like we went out with a complete bang in the same way we came in with a bang on New Year's Eve, and it was just a very, very special moment for me.
Me too, yeah. And just reminiscing about what we'd achieved and just praising Lewis again on the quality of the latest video. Out of what have been 4 so far, just absolutely unbelievable pieces of artistry, and also hard work and a bit of blood, sweat, tears and other bodily fluids.
Conclude in such a great place, and for this whole to be all about well-being, there's nothing better for your well-being, I think, than traveling and seeing the world, and more importantly doing it with friends. I think one of the things that we've been so busy this month doing activities, when we met up, it's been nice to all do those activities together and things like that, and we've got to know each other in that way very well. But I thought we got to know each other more than ever on these last 3 days.
And also, I mean, I was a little bit sneaky with the planning, because the 1st of February was actually also my 26th birthday. So we finished the month and then it's my birthday. So then we had, just a really nice day the next day. And I think we had all been craving that complete decompression time. So we possibly didn't do Porto's famous tourist attractions justice, because we just didn't go to them. Instead, we just enjoyed the city, enjoyed the time with each other, and just mooched around in parks and bars and whatever, and it was just amazing. We're now going to summarize everything that we did throughout the month, just as almost an exercise to ourselves, or for ourselves, to think about everything that we've done. And then I think it'd be nice to talk through our favorite activities, maybe the one that was the biggest surprise, and then maybe to close it out with things that we will actually do after this, because some are just you kind of do it once and it's amazing, but there are some that I know you both have been doing consistently ever since we started them. And so, let's run through it. So, green bathing, ins and outs list, South Bank run, 1 hour meditation, yoga, go and see a film on your own, do something you miss doing, affirmations, clearing your to-do list, give someone a gift for no reason, sound bath, random sport, just journaling, Highgate men's bathing ponds, pampering yourself, cycling, isolation tank, teach yourself a new skill, call 3 people from your life to reconnect, trek in Wales, chanting, breathing exercises, host a dinner party, choir, laughing yoga, let the viewers decide from Instagram, push ourselves out of our comfort zones, go on a men walk talk walk, Tai Chi, arts and crafts, and then Zach's secret, which was a surprise holiday.
That just shows how much we've done.
So I struggle, just literally can't wrap my head around doing that amount of different things in the space of a month. A lot of them completely new, many of them kind of intense on mind, emotions, body, all alongside running the show, Lewis editing,
everyone filming, which is a lot, I think.
Everyone filming, meeting up to discuss it, what an unbelievable feat.
What a ride.
What a ride.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's just the volume that we've done, and it's been such a good thing. I think for my psyche is to do something, and for my well-being to do something every day. And I probably think from this month I've learned a couple of things that I will narrow down and use, and hopefully develop them more into more refined skills and things like that. But it's such a good way to do this, which is to just sample everything, get a rough idea, and put your neck out there, like you said, and try new things. And it's made what's really kind of a boring month, January, one of the most exciting and eventful months that we've ever had.
A voyage of discovery, really. I think for me, discovery is the word that comes to mind. Like discovery of things that I would have never tried before, discovery of the things that I thought might work and actually it confirmed that they did work, discovery of what I can do, discover what we can do as a team, discovery of just the highs that you can reach, like the triumphs when you do stuff, like just do. How has this compared to your 31 days last year?
Well, this is something I wanted to ask the two of you is, do you think the concept actually works? Like, completely honestly.
Oh, yes. I mean, I would highly recommend anyone do our schedule. You could do it in February, you could do it in March, you could do it in April. I think it is such a good way of growing, really. I think we've all grown from it, and it's such a good way to find out new things that are there to boost your well-being. And I think being guinea pigs that we were has been quite eye-opening as well in my personal development anyway. It's that can-do attitude now of not feeling super anxious about something, just decided to do it. This has been our motto, is just do it.
It just sets you up so well for the rest of the year and your whole life. Like there's things that I've learned that I think will just transform my life, like the value of just clearing your to-do list. Like I was thinking about the most impactful ones. Tidying and deep cleaning my room has genuinely improved my life so much, and I feel so much more proud about my living space. I've said, on the other hand, a few times, filming it and running it as a thing that we share with people is very intense. And I would do it again because that has also been great for our development, but also like involves real sacrifices. And could I do it for another month right now? I don't know if I could.
No.
But like all those stresses always culminated in triumphs and amazing high points.
I think if I look at any of them, which before the month even ended, I've been doing consistently since, has been the journaling. That has been the one that I think, because of its accessibility and as its kind of simplicity, but it's also something we've been doing without necessarily calling it journaling, which is the reflection that we're doing right now, where we're looking back.
So I did journaling for a few days afterwards, and then, like I said in the podcast, I missed one day, and then I just stopped doing it, which was stupid. And I've been kind of looking on with jealousy at you two and how much you're enjoying it. I would say one that is a big one for me anyway, and it actually is something I kept on from last year, but it was nice to revisit it and to remember it, is green bathing. Not quite in the kind of full extent of what we did on January the 1st. Like I wasn't lying on the floor, but almost every morning, if not every morning this month, I have woken up, got ready for the day, and tried to go outside as soon as possible and get daylight and just enjoy the woods that's opposite my house, which is like my happy place in the world. And I feel so engaged with it when I'm there, and I feel so calm when I leave it to go and start my actual day, that it's such an important one to me, going for that morning walk. And so yeah, it's really easy. It's like journaling. As soon as you get it just into your routine, it's so normalized and easy to do. In terms of the others, a lot of my favorites were always like the big expansive ones, like the exciting ones, just because it was kind of what the whole point of the project was. We were just experiencing all these new exciting things. In the smaller ones though, it just will be green bathing. And to be fair, an ins and outs list in January is such an important one, and I feel like I've subconsciously done the New Year's resolutions that we tell everyone not to do, because I just set it very lightly for myself and just said, these are the things I'm going to do and these are the things I'm not going to do. And I've pretty much, if not wholly, completed all 10 on each side, I think.
Wow.
And so there's definitely going to be some exceptions, but I've not revisited it. I just know that it's set into my subconscious mind. So yeah, I think the biggest one is green bathing, and being present when you're outside, particularly in the morning, is very, very powerful for me.
But one that I found was such an interesting, kind of very surprising experience, and one I've had many people speak to me about and actually want to do it with me, is the sound bathing.
Yeah, Big David.
Yeah, because it's been, and just thinking about the ones that are about, you have to go out to a place, you have to do it as an outside activity. That is one that I would definitely do again, even if it's not a routinely thing. It was just such an interesting, unique, surreal evening.
I think that one is the one that surprised me the most, because I thought of it as really hippie. And again, nothing wrong with hippie, but just I wasn't expecting to wax lyrical about it in the way that I have. And I think it's the one that I'll recommend to people the most, partly because it's just a cool spot in London, partly because it just takes you to a completely different frame of thinking.
I think my biggest surprise, and I don't think this will be a surprise for either of you, after the 4 days in Porto, where it was almost every second sentence, but it's bloody choir. Choir was so good. Choir was so good. And it annoys me that it was so good, because we went in thinking it was going to be so bad, and we were like completely had the guard up. We were like, this is not going to be good. And it just is. And we still, and you'll have seen it in episode 4, we still sing those two stupid songs all the time. It's constantly in our heads. And so, yeah, massive surprise. Would I do it again? Probably not. I think I was talking rubbish when I said I'd go and join one. But
that was sad.
Let it shine. One of the things we were talking about when we were at the airport, I think, was just trying to remember exactly how much we've done and whether or not January has felt long or short for us. And it's kind of this weird in-between thing where it's over, and I'm shocked it's over, but it feels so long ago that we started this. And that's because I think when you usually look back on a month, you find the highlights, and that's the meat of your life, really, and you just ignore the fat and you cut it out. This has all been meat.
yeah,
This has all been worthwhile memories throughout every day. So it's hard to narrow down any activity for improving my well-being.
Yeah.
But what I do know is my well-being is up.
Yeah. It's that compounding interest like theory, though, isn't it? As if we gave ourselves an extra 2% every day, and that was compounding. It wasn't like you get to the end of the day and you lose all the well-being benefits. And so we pushed it higher and higher and higher. And obviously sometimes it would cause us to drop because there was too much pressure with filming. But it is a net positive for sure. Like, you can noticeably see it in terms of our well-being and our wellness, but also our confidence and our personal development that's come out the back of it. I mean, I don't want to get it up for us now, but the like, hi, I'm Zach, hi, I'm Marcus, like that to this is just completely different people to me.
We didn't hit the ground running with the first rough cut we showed to anyone. It was there was some holes in it, but it's just a constant, just keep going, and I'm excited for making more stuff. I have no idea exactly what that kind of stuff's going to be, but I think we've all spoken about potential projects in the future, and yeah, that's been my takeaway. I think my biggest takeaway has been to just get more involved in projects, push yourself out there.
My one sentence: be happy to be bad at something.
I think for me, it's about taking time for myself, and I say that having struggled all throughout to take time for myself. But the more that I did take time for myself, the more I learned about myself, the more I learned new skills, the more I was able to deal with negative emotions. So I think my line is take time for yourself.
Take time for yourself and be happy to be bad at something. We've been 31 Days to Wellbeing. Thank you very much for watching along over the past month. We hope you've enjoyed episode 5. There's still time to donate to the fundraiser. We want to hit £2,000 now, I think, is a realistic goal. But thank you for all the lovely feedback and for sharing and for getting involved. It's been potentially the best month of my life. And yeah, thank you to you both, and thank you to everyone out there.